Are you choosing the wrong theme parks for your upcoming Orlando trip? Today, Universal Orlando and Disney World are battling it out to see which parks can win you over here on DFV Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. We have been getting so many requests for this video, so it is time to deliver. Today we're pitting two of the most popular Orlando theme parks against each other, Disney World and Universal Orlando, to see which parks you'll want to prioritize for your upcoming Florida vacation. Universal Orlando and Disney World both have pros and cons, so we're going to dive into what you can expect when it comes to each park's rides, dining, resorts, shopping, shows, and all the extra benefits that come along with your visit. So let's start with one of the biggest theme park factors of them all. We're going to jump into rides. What would a theme park be without an extensive amount of ride offerings? Universal and Disney both have several rides between each of their parks, but some are better suited for certain types of guests over others. We're going to start with Universal Orlando. Let's cut to the chase. If you're looking for more thrilling rides, Universal is going to give you bigger coasters, more chances to get your blood pumping, more thrills. Not to say that Disney World's rides can't give you a rush of adrenaline, but the intensity of the rides at the Universal parks is definitely a bigger factor that'll appeal to older kids and teens and adults looking for more excitement and less kind of slow-going experiences. On the Universal Studios side, you've got three major coasters. Rip Ride Rocket has a 90-degree lift hill, an upside-down loop-de-loop, and a customizable soundtrack. That's right, you get to choose your song. The Revenge of the Mummy has areas of total darkness, backwards launches, and slight animatronic jump scares. And Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts has you come face to face with villains like Bellatrix and Voldemort, who are not exactly thrilled to see you. On the Islands of Adventure side, the coasters get even more extreme. Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure is a story coaster with 7 launches and a section of track that actually detaches and has a 17-foot free-falling vertical drop. The Incredible Hulk coaster is a mega coaster with a 67-mile-per-hour launch that blasts you into a zero-gravity barrel roll and makes you go, oh, is my heart really going to be able to handle this one? And then you've got the new Velocicoaster, which is the most extreme of them all, with 2 launches, zero-gravity inversions, 360-degree barrel rolls right above the water, and oh yeah, the continuous fear of knowing raptors are chasing you the entire time. Again, Disney's coasters can be thrilling, but none of their coasters are even close to Universal's in terms of magnitude and exhilaration. If you're a water ride enthusiast, you may also prefer the options at Universal too. Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls has a drop hill that's more intense than the drop you'll find on Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain's drop hill is around 50 feet and Ripsaw Falls is at 75. I don't think I've ever been more drenched on a water ride than I was after riding Popeye's Bilge Rat Barge's River Raft ride, and Jurassic Park River Adventure is like a mix of Splash Mountain and Dinosaur, thrills, and a log flume. Now, cons for Universal's rides. Increased thrill factors on rides are great if you're an adrenaline chaser, but if you're more of a nervous rider, you don't have the strongest stomach when it comes to intense speeds and upside-down tracks, or you have younger kids that you're traveling with who aren't tall enough to ride a lot of these rides yet, then there may not end up being a whole lot for you to do at Universal. Strong story-based, family-friendly, no height requirement, not totally scaring your little ones types of rides are not as common in Universal as they are in Magic Kingdom. All right, let's move on to the Disney World rides. Pros. Disney World definitely doesn't have a problem with family-friendly rides, along with some things for teens and adults, though the thrill factor doesn't measure up to Universal. The Disney theme parks were created with the idea that families could visit and enjoy the attractions together, so you'll see a lot of rides that everyone can ride. In Magic Kingdom, if you've got toddlers with you, then rides like Dumbo the Flying Elephant and Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid would be experiences the whole family could take part in. Looking for dark rides with dark storylines interwoven throughout? Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion, those can hook you up with chilling moments in an easygoing boat ride or Omnimover that your kids will be fine with. But for more lighthearted tales, you can visit options like Peter Pan's Flight and Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Very popular rides, still hold up, but good for everyone. And for a more thrilling experience for the older kids, you can hit up a coaster like Space Mountain or Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Each of the Disney parks features a similar range of rides appealing to all ages, with the most intense of the bunch being Rock and Roller Coaster over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. which features a high-speed launch, upside-down tracks, and moments of complete darkness. This coaster still isn't on par with rides like Velocicoaster or the Hulk, but it definitely still provides a nice rush for those adrenaline chasers out there. More than focusing on intense thrills, Disney World focuses on the story of the experience, meaning your adrenaline will still find a way to spike when you get to be part of something so immersive. You can join the Resistance in a multi-ride system with animatronics, trackless ride features, sudden thrills, and even live First Order members during Hollywood Studios' Rise of the Resistance. You can team up and rock out with Star-Lord and the rest of the Guardians in Epcot's first ever backward-launching coaster, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And you can fly on the back of a Banshee throughout the fantastical realm of Pandora in Animal Kingdom's 4D attraction, Flight of Passage. Case in point, though the ride systems in Disney aren't necessarily going to break any records with their high-power launches or massive drop hills, Disney's Imagineers have found a way to create multiple experiences which allow guests to live out epic stories alongside their favorite characters. And that is pretty cool. Now, cons to Disney's rides. The thing that makes Disney World great for those of you traveling with little kids may be the trip ruiner for those who have a pack of thrill seekers. Those folks might not be as impressed by princesses waving to you from a parade float. So Disney World's current fastest ride only reaches speeds of about 64 miles per hour, and that's only for a short duration with no extra thrills like drops or inversions. Moving on to food. Theme parks in general don't always have the best food reputation, but what you'll find at both Disney World and Universal Orlando in terms of unique dining offerings could surprise you. Let's start with Universal. Pros on the food. I know you probably think we're going to be biased here, considering the name of our website is literally Disney Food Blog, but you gotta give credit where credit's due, and Universal does have some good food offerings on property. You got restaurants like the award-winning Greek and Pan-Mediterranean Mythos restaurant inside Islands of Adventure, the highly themed Three Broomsticks and Leaky Cauldron, and amazing ice cream in the park at Florian Fortescue's over in the Harry Potter sections, just to name a few. Whenever Universal has a seasonal festival going on, they also have seasonal food booths for you to try out too, just like you'd find during an Epcot festival. It won't be quite as large as an Epcot festival with dozens of booths, but there are still plenty of options. And let's not forget one of the big selling points of Universal, butterbeer. Butterbeer is a butterscotch-flavored drink exclusive to the Wizarding World sections of both parks. It comes cold, frozen, hot, spiked, or it can even be a sweet treat flavor for ice cream, like you'll find at Florian Fortescue's Ice Cream Parlor, and fudge, like you'll find in Sugar Plum's Sweet Shop in Diagon Alley or Honeyduke's in Hogsmeade. So if you're thinking about skipping the Universal area because you don't know if you're going to find any dining offerings that'll be worthy of Disney competitors, it turns out you've got quite a few options that may be worth investigating. Now, cons on Universal food. We've established that Universal can have good food, but that doesn't mean you're going to find as much food here as you would on the Disney side of things. With fewer parks and fewer hotels, Universal just can't match the number of restaurants that Disney World has. If you don't know where to go, you could wind up with a bad meal, as the food can be really hit or miss at Universal. The plain burgers and corn dogs are not our team's favorite, and a lot of the restaurants at Universal have less creative and unique options than over at Disney World, so if you're hunting for good food, you'll want to do your research. Now, here's one personal con on Universal food that I just can't get around, and I want to warn you about. If you do go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in either park, they do not serve soda pop. They only have Wizarding World drinks. So if you can't eat without a diet soda, you're going to have to bring your own. Do I know this is a flaw of mine? Yes. Do I need to work on drinking less diet soda? Absolutely. Just noting that I'm aware of these problems. All right, going over to Disney World. Pros on the food. Well, there's a reason why I started a site called Disney Food Blog all those years ago, and that's because there's so much to be explored here flavor-wise, and the options never stop coming. So let's just talk about a few standout points that directly compete against what you're going to find at Universal. First off, character dining is more of a thing in Disney World. You've got several chances to meet the Fab Five during a meal. That's Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Donald, Goofy. But you can also meet some of your favorite princesses, too, at restaurants like Akershus Royal Banquet Hall in Epcot, storybook dining at Artist Point with Snow White at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, and a quick picture op with Cinderella at Cinderella's Royal Table in Magic Kingdom. Every now and then you can dine with characters over at Universal, too, but these usually accompany specialty events or limited time dining offerings and aren't necessarily a standalone restaurant option all year long. And I'd argue in general that there's just more dining variety in Disney World, period. I'm not only talking about the table service offerings, but also the international inspired stuff and lounge bites and quick service and snack kiosks. In fact, there are hundreds of different dining offerings around the Disney World property through the parks and hotels and shopping district, so much so that it can all seem pretty overwhelming at times, which is why we've got the entire digital guides with hundreds of pages worth of info about those restaurants and snacks and festival booths and tips and recommendations, budgeting sheets, etc. You can pre-order that 2023 guide at dfbstore.com today. Now, cons for Disney World food. Despite all the different offerings, there are some Disney World restaurants that feel like Fort Knox to get into, even when you do wake up at 5:45 a.m. for a chance at snagging an advanced dining reservation 2 months in advance. Restaurants like Be Our Guest in Magic Kingdom, Space 220 and Epcot, they fill up fast. You may possibly still be able to find a reservation if you miss your early morning window of opportunity, but for the most part, once those resis are gone, it's hard to find one. Cancellation fees also aren't as prevalent on the Universal dining scene. If you need to make a last-minute cancellation in Disney World for a restaurant like 2 hours before you're supposed to arrive, then you'll be charged $10 per person for a no-show fee. But that's not the case in Universal. If you can't show up for a dining reservation, no harm, no foul. Just try not to make a habit of it, since this does take away a seat that someone else could have booked instead. Time to talk shows and characters. I can't be all rides all the time. Both Universal and Disney World like to pull out their star factors and add a little variety to your day. But does one theme park company do their shows better than the other? We're going to start with Universal here. Pros, when it comes to the Universal Orlando Nighttime Spectaculars, you don't really need to stake out a spot hours in advance to see them. Everyone can have a chance to see the Hogwarts Castle projection show at some time during the night, since they have multiple showings until park closing. And the castle's also at higher elevation, making it easier to see all the different projections without being blocked by other guests. There are also lots of Streetmosphere opportunities at Universal. While a good amount of the fun impromptu Streetmosphere interactions haven't come back to Disney World yet, you can count on running into lots of characters and pop-up musical performances around the Universal parks. You can also catch some unique performances like the Monster Movie Makeup Show, an Animal Stunt Show, the Bourne Stuntacular, and even come face-to-face with Blue during the Raptor Encounter meet and greet. Characters are also a little sassier in Universal. Go meet Donkey from Shrek and you'll see what I mean. Cons over at Universal, well, when it comes to the stage shows, you've got awfully slim pickings here. You're not going to find any Broadway-style performances, and you won't be ending every evening with an over-the-top fireworks display. Character meet and greets may not be as exciting as they are in Disney World either. Does your kid know who Betty Boop is? If the answer is no, they're going to be confused by some of the characters they can meet. But you can see Shrek and characters from Madagascar, so kids will know what's going on some of the time. Over in Disney World, pros on shows. When it comes to the Disney World side of things, you've got multiple nighttime spectaculars in 3 of the parks, and these shows will give you the goosebumps and teary-eyed gazes. The Disney show offerings don't stop at nighttime spectaculars, though. You've also got shows with animatronic actors, screen-based shows, live shows, Streetmosphere, 5D shows that'll give you goosebumps in a more unsettling way. Basically, there are plenty of places to go and watch something if you want to take a break from standing in those forever long ride lines. And you've probably already guessed this, but character meet and greets are way more of a selling point in Disney World. You've got character meet and greets for dining, like we talked about earlier, one-on-one interactions, parades, characters that are just meandering out in the open trying to get to their next location. And if you want to meet Mickey Mouse, then by golly, you've got several opportunities to do so, because that guy, he gets around. Now, cons. As nice as it is to wrap up an evening inside Magic Kingdom watching the fireworks go off over Cinderella Castle, it's also an absolute nightmare. If you want to see the show, projections and all, then prepare to feel squished in the process, because nearly everyone else in the park is going to want to see the fireworks and projections too. And the hectic, crowded energy, it doesn't stop there. Maneuvering out of the hub after the fireworks so you can get out of the park and over to the buses and ferry or monorail station is a nightmare in general. To get a good view of not just Magic Kingdom's nighttime display, but also Hollywood Studios' show Fantasmic, you'll need to get in line early to find a spot that'll give you a nice, clear vantage point. And even then, you could still wind up blocked by another guest when you're trying to peek around the crowds before Disney Enchantment. If Universal has their projection show going on during your visit, you should be able to walk right up a couple of minutes before and find a good spot. Honestly, aside from how incredibly packed out the nighttime shows can get, I have a hard time coming up with other cons for Disney World's entertainment offerings. Do I wish some Disney World shows would return, like the Muppets' Great Moments in History that used to happen in Magic Kingdom and Liberty Square? Absolutely. Do I feel downright violated by others, like it's tough to be a bug in Disney's Animal Kingdom inside the Tree of Life? Also, yes. But for the most part, the variety of shows available at all times is another one of Disney's strong suits. They always know how to hit you right in the feels. Now, good timing on this next section. 'Tis the season to celebrate. How do the Universal Orlando festivities for holidays compare to the Disney-led ones? Let's find out. Universal Orlando, pros, 3 words, Mardi Gras celebrations. If you visit Universal Studios Florida between February and April, then you may get the chance to take part in all the Mardi Gras festivities, which include food booths, live concerts, and over-the-top parades with the traditional tossing of beads in a more family-friendly environment. Around Halloween time, if you want the pants scared off you, you'll want to visit Universal Studios in the evening during the special ticketed event, Halloween Horror Nights. That's where you're going to find multiple themed haunted houses, scare zones, and a tribute store decked out for the spooky season. This is literally terrifying, and a lot of folks can't handle it. Now, what about the Christmas season? What then? Well, you've got the Grinch. That's it. That's the tweet. Okay, you've got other Christmas decor and parades and a seasonal Wizarding World Hogwarts projection show, but Grinchmas is a big selling point for Islands of Adventure around this time of year. Not only will you get multiple chances to meet the sassy green fellow who tried to steal Christmas, but you'll also be able to see the Grinchmas Hula Day Spectacular and try a heaping portion of Who Hash from the Green Eggs and Ham quick service location. Cons over there in Universal on the holiday and seasonal stuff. Though younger kids are still technically allowed to attend Halloween Horror Nights, Universal Studios highly warns guests against bringing kids under 13 to this event. And honestly, I don't even want to go to this event. I know other DFB team members absolutely adore it because Universal does the scares upright, but I am not a fan of the loud noises and constantly having to look over my shoulder the entire time. I'd rather have my after-hours event non-panic inducing. Thanks. But I know a lot of you love it too, and a lot of you even buy tickets to go multiple times. Aside from Mardi Gras, Halloween, and Christmas, the Universal parks don't do a whole lot more when it comes to exclusive celebrations and festivities. You're not even going to find any after-hours events for Christmas, though you can make reservations for a specialty Grinchmas tour or have a Grinchmas feast with, you guessed it, the mean one you wouldn't touch with a 39.5-foot pole. Over in Disney World, pros on seasonal stuff. When you visit Disney, it almost feels like there's always a celebration going on somewhere with big holidays and little holidays galore. Whereas Universal is kind of limited to Wizarding World and Grinchmas for its Christmas celebrations, Disney has several ways to celebrate across not just the 4 parks, but also around the Disney Springs shopping district and all the different hotels too. We're talking Christmas tree trails, so many specialty food and drink offerings, gingerbread house displays, and even a Christmas Eve golf cart parade, an exclusive event that happens over at Fort Wilderness. If you're wanting your Halloween after-hours event to be more on the tame side and family-friendly, Magic Kingdom has its Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which starts up as early as August, something you may be interested in if you're wanting to visit when those ticket prices are lower and crowds are lower too. Festivals also have more of a presence on the Disney side of things, with Epcot hosting its 4 festivals nearly all year long. There's the Festival of the Arts, Flower and Garden, Food and Wine, and Festival of the Holidays, and each festival has a ton of extra activities and shows, and of course, dozens of food booths to go around and try. Cons to Disney World's side of seasonal events. Though the Universal Studios After Hours Halloween event is vastly different from what you'll find in Magic Kingdom, Universal Studios does have a nifty little day-night combo ticket for those who want to experience both the event and a full day at the Universal parks to help save guests a little money. But when it comes to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, or even Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, a combo ticket isn't an option. Instead, depending on when you visit, you're going to have to pay double the amount for a single-day park ticket, if not more so, if you want to go to the after-hours events. Yep, both Universal and Disney can see rather extreme holiday crowds, but Disney's can feel stifling at times. Where the Universal parks have more chances to spread out and escape the crowd fatigue, it can be more difficult to do the same in the Disney parks unless you want to leave the parks entirely and come back when the afternoon crowds have hopefully relaxed a little bit. This is especially true when it comes to Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, which are Disney's 2 smaller parks. All right, this is the section I know a lot of you have been waiting for. It is time to talk about the line skipping services. Now we're getting into some of the nitty-gritty, touchy subjects, but it's finally time to compare Universal's and Disney's line bypassing services and see which ones come out on top. Let's start with Universal. Pros: you're not going to find Genie Plus and Lightning Lanes in Universal Orlando. Instead, you're going to find two different kinds of pass options: the Universal Express Pass and the Universal Express Pass Unlimited. The Universal Express Pass can be used to bypass the main queue of a ride once, while the Unlimited Pass lets you bypass it whenever you'd like. You can automatically get a Universal Express Pass Unlimited when you stay at one of the participating Universal Premier category hotels, like Loews Portofino Bay, Hard Rock Hotel, and Loews Royal Pacific Resort. Unlike Lightning Lanes, you don't have to stress over booking your Express Passes all throughout the day starting at 7 a.m. They're all there and ready for you to use whenever you want them. Cons for Universal Orlando's line skipping program: though it's nice that the Express Passes are kept at a set price all year long, those set prices are not cheap. The cheapest option you can add to your Universal Park ticket is the standard Universal Express, which ranges around $80 per person. But that $80 Universal Express Pass won't let you bypass lines for Islands of Adventure's most popular rides, Velocicoaster and Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. You won't be able to bypass those lines even if you buy the Express Pass Unlimited for a whopping $109 per person. The only way you can avoid waiting in the main queue line for either of these attractions is when A, the single rider option is available, and B, whenever a virtual line pass option is available. You'll know if it is if you see a sign outside the ride with a QR code. If this sign is out on the day of your visit, just scan the code and it'll lead you to a reservation page where you can pick a return time for the ride. Again, the virtual lines can be spotty. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not, but it's always good to keep an eye out nonetheless. But if Velocicoaster and Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure were the key rides you were wanting line bypassing privileges for in the first place, this added expense may not be worth it, especially considering that a family of 4 would end up having to pay around $320 to $436 and still wouldn't have the ability to skip over the lines of the two newest rides in the park. Now, moving on to Disney World, it's Genie Plus time. Lightning Lanes and Genie Plus have been rather controversial since their launch in 2021, but there are still major perks to having them around. First, you can pick and choose what line bypassing services you want to pay for. You can stick with the Genie Plus option solely for the Lightning Lane options of 40 plus attractions, or if you want to bypass the lines of the newest and most popular rides in the parks, you can also add on up to 2 individual Lightning Lane entrances for that privilege, which costs a flux price around $10 to $17 per person per ride. But you don't have to choose one Lightning Lane option over the other. You can purchase both Lightning Lane options in a single day if you'd prefer that instead. Even when Genie Plus is at its surge highest, right now that's $29 per person, you can still get a family of 4, the Genie Plus add-on, for $116 or less, which is pretty similar to what you'll pay for one person to have the general Express Passes at Universal Orlando. Now, cons. The big Debbie Downer of Genie Plus individual Lightning Lanes: the whole system is super confusing. If you pay that $80 to $109 Express Pass fee per person, you're not going to have to feel like you need a degree in order to learn the system. You've got the Express Passes, you bypass the lines, simple as that. But with Lightning Lanes, the system is constantly changing. There are rules about when you can start booking Lightning Lane reservations and when you can actually purchase your Lightning Lanes, and how Lightning Lanes are handled differently when you're also combining them with a park hopper. And you can only have one at a time. Now, we do have a whole video breaking down all the different Genie Plus elements, but we know there are probably more changes coming. And though you're definitely able to collect several Lightning Lane reservations throughout the day with your Genie Plus purchase, if you start booking them at 7 a.m., you're still only allowed to book one at a time. But the Express Passes are already all there for you, raring to go, which can be way less stressful than feeling like you have to be on your phone almost all day long in the parks to grab the next Lightning Lane reservation time before it sells out. All right, moving on to hotels. At the end of a long park day, you'll have to retreat to your temporary home away from home. But where are you staying? Well, you've got options. At Universal Orlando, let's start with the biggest pro of the Universal Orlando resorts: the cost. Universal's hotel options are way less expensive than you'll find over on Disney World property. In fact, Universal's newest resorts, Endless Summer Resort, Dockside, Surfside Inn, and Suites, start at $96 per night. And Universal's premier hotels, their deluxe resorts, start between $312 to $372, which sometimes you may not be able to get a Disney moderate hotel for that price. Depending on which resort you're staying at, you'll be able to walk everywhere you want to get to around Universal property. Universal is pretty compact, like Disneyland in California, so you don't have to worry about wasting a whole lot of time traveling from place to place. But if you want to give your feet a break, Universal does have boat options that'll take you right up to City Walk from your resort's dock. Now, cons over there at Universal. Truth be told, Universal's resorts don't have a whole lot of downsides to them. But the main con you may come across is the overall theming of each resort. Not to say the theming of these places is bad. Many of them are really nice and modern and sleek, but you're not going to get quite the variety of theme that you'll find in Disney World. On Disney property, the theme of the resort is part of the vacation itself. You could be sent on a tropical getaway at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, or immerse yourself in art and storytelling at Disney's Art of Animation Resort, or enjoy beignets and booze and jazz in that staple New Orleans style at the Port Orleans resorts. There's even an entire backyard savanna with wild animals at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. It may be neat to check out different Universal Orlando resorts, but the different hotel styles aren't going to feel like you're transporting to a totally new realm with each different visit. But you can fill an entire day just checking out the different Disney resorts and all their different offerings and activities. Now in Disney World, pros for their hotels? Again, the hotels are just as much a part of the vacation as the parks are. Once you step foot into the lobby of your Disney World hotel, you'll be immediately immersed in the theming. And if you're looking for a cheaper room, you can always reach out to Disney's partnering Good Neighbor hotels in the nearby vicinity, which will usually give you more affordable options with similar Disney resort benefits. Cons. Again, I've already gotten ahead of myself here, but if you want to stay in a Disney World resort, you're going to have to invest a pretty penny. Let's just put it this way. Disney's value standard rooms could still end up putting you back $200 a night during their busier seasons. And the standard value hotel rooms are fine. Maybe a little extra color and characters here and there, but for the most part, you'd probably get the same, if not a better type of hotel room over at one of the neighboring Holiday Inns for way less. As far as deluxe resorts go, rooms can easily climb to $1,000 per night, depending on where you're staying. In conclusion, we love the Disney hotels for their highly immersive themes and offerings, but when it comes to saving money and still receiving plenty of park benefits in the process, you might be better off taking the Universal Resort route instead. Next up, we're going to talk park tickets. Let's really duke it out. Which park tickets are actually going to give you the most bang for your buck? Universal Orlando. Well, it can be tricky to pin down which park ticket prices are all around more affordable, since both Universal Orlando and Disney World have flexible costs depending on the season now. But essentially, if you're wanting to visit multiple parks in a single go, Universal Orlando is usually going to give you the cheaper means to do so. 2 Universal parks for one day starts at $164 per person, but this price can climb to $204 during peak seasons. The big benefit of Universal's tickets is that you're not going to have to worry about blockout dates, meaning you could even purchase a park ticket the day before your arrival and still be good to go. Not extra park pass reservations necessary. Universal's tickets also, generally speaking, don't have expiration dates unless otherwise stated. And Universal Orlando still has their season passes for sale. Not only that, but all annual pass tiers, from the most affordable to the most expensive with most benefits, are available to purchase by all guests and not just Florida residents. Cons over there at Universal? Cheaper tickets, more annual pass options, no blockout dates. Do Universal Orlando's tickets actually have any downsides? Well, yeah. Let's start with the way Universal tries to twist your arm and spend more on their park-to-park tickets. The only way to ride the Hogwarts Express between the 2 Wizarding World areas, Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley, is if you spend the extra for a park-to-park ticket. The immersion factor is cool, but it can definitely be a bummer if you don't plan on visiting both parks and don't want to spend all the extra just to ride the train. This next con goes back to the beef we had about the rides. When you buy tickets for Universal, you're not going to have a whole lot of offerings for the younger kids in your party. This is definitely a park for thrills, so kids could get bored or intimidated and the ticket price just might not feel worth it in the end. Now, I don't know if this next point is a con or not, it's just simply a fact, but Disney World is big, like really big. Generally speaking, you can get through all of Universal's offerings in 1 to 3 days, but when you buy Disney World tickets, you're paying for a bunch of stuff across multiple parks that take multiple days to experience, so I guess it really depends on your point of view. If you'd rather be able to experience everything in just a few days' time, then this might actually be a point in favor of Universal Orlando. But if you think about how much more you get with a Disney ticket, and you'd rather invest in a theme park where you never have to worry about running out of things to do, then Disney World could be a better investment. Now, let's move on to Disney World pros. Time to defend the park hoppers. For the price of a Disney World park hopper, you have the ability to jump to more parks than just one other park if you wanted. You could even visit all 4 parks in a single day. But let's get down to brass tacks. When you buy a ticket to Disney, you're getting a full-on family-friendly experience where you can find something for everyone to do. That doesn't mean everyone's going to fall in love with a Disney vacation, but it does mean there are multiple opportunities for little kids, bigger kids, teens, adults, and even grandpa and grandma to find something to do here. Oh, and this could be an added bonus for you. You can keep all your park tickets, hotel and dining reservations, PhotoPass photos, and even payment methods on a Magic Band or on Magic Mobile. It's a nice, easy, convenient way to keep all your vacation information in one spot. Now, cons for Disney. Since we called out the park pass reservations earlier, let's address them now. When you purchase a regular park ticket, you'll have to make a park pass reservation to make sure you guarantee your spot in the park you're wanting to visit. Not only does this reservation service strip away some of the flexibility of your trip, but it also means certain dates at certain parks can fill up before you get the chance to save your spot. And that means you've got to purchase your park tickets way in advance, which is a gamble as is since plans could change before that time, and park tickets are non-refundable. Now, let's go back to the annual pass thing again, because there's one more point I've got to make that makes it all the more tempting for out-of-state residents to become Universal Pass holders rather than Disney Pass holders. Not that they really have another choice at the moment. When annual passes were available for a short period of time last year, out-of-state residents had to purchase the most expensive annual pass holder tier if they wanted a pass. That's the Incredipass, and it cost about $1,300. And that wasn't a payment you could make over time. You had to pay that in full right at checkout. But Universal Orlando has flexible payment plans for Florida residents and non-Florida residents alike. That doesn't mean Disney won't make any significant changes when the annual passes go live on their site again, but the verdict is still out. For now, Universal comes up triumphant with its annual pass offerings and works with guests to make sure they can make payments in a way that makes sense with their budget. Time for water parks! Let's take a super speedy look into the different water park offerings in Universal Orlando and Disney World. Universal Orlando has one major award-winning water park, and that's Volcano Bay. Volcano Bay takes the term water park and cranks it up by a bajillion. You've got major water slides, a rapid-paced lazy river, a sparkling wave pool with a nice view of the park's towering, iconic volcano. And kind of like Magic Bands, Volcano Bay provides guests with Tapu Tapu bands, but these bands are really top-notch. What you do is pick a slide you want to go on, tap your band at that slide's Tapu Tapu station, and you'll be automatically put in the virtual queue. Then, when your time to ride finally rolls around, your Tapu Tapu will alert you, and you can start heading back that way. That way you don't have to worry about wasting a good chunk of your water park day in lines, and you can spend more time actually splashing around in the water. It's brilliant. But if you want to skip the Tapu Tapu waits, you can add a Volcano Bay Express Pass to your ticket price. In Disney World, they've got 2 different water park options, but rarely are they ever open at the same time lately. But that doesn't mean you're not gonna get less theming to experience at one water park over the other. Typhoon Lagoon is gonna give you more of that traditional tropical vibe with a twist of adventure, and Blizzard Beach takes a more unique approach and mixes the concept of ski slopes and water slides into one package deal. There's also the new Frozen theming in the Tykes Peak section at Blizzard Beach. Anna and Elsa's Igloo Castle is now in the area, and Olaf and his Snowgy pals are hanging out in the warm wading pool. Disney also likes to throw in extra classes and after-hours events into their water park offerings. For example, when Typhoon Lagoon is open, you can sign up for a private surf lesson through the Disney World website, which will give you the chance to hang 10 across the water park's wave pool. And in the summer, Typhoon Lagoon also hosts the Disney H2O Glow after-hours events, where you can spend 3 extra hours in the water park after it closes and experience the special glowing decor, DJ dance parties, and exclusive menu items. So, big question. Can we crown either Universal Orlando or Disney World as the ultimate Orlando theme park champion? Well, it really depends on you and what you took away from today's video. If you and your family are looking for adrenaline-spiking thrills, lots of streetmosphere, reusable express passes, and copious amounts of butterbeer, then Universal Orlando may be up your Diagon alley. But if you're looking for more family-friendly attractions, more dining variety, things that Grandma and Grandpa can do, potentially cheaper lightning lanes, and a more expansive shopping district, then Disney World may still be where you want to focus your time, energy, and budget. Or you could be like some of us here on the DFB team and try to split your visit between the two park types. The great thing about having multiple choices in the Orlando area is that you don't have to decide completely on one set of parks over the others. Just make sure you do your research, know which hotel stays will benefit you the most, and keep checking back with us for more tips on savings, recommendations, and travel. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.